Ever wonder how to improve your editing workflow? Today, we're diving deep into the creative journey of Joanna Celia, an incredibly talented wedding photographer from New Zealand. In this session, Joanna shares her unique approach to wedding photography and takes us behind the scenes of her editing process using Polarr Next. She'll talk about how she's never really had the desire to explore other AI editing options until Polarr Next, making her editing process not just faster, but also more intuitive. You won't want to miss her insights on how this powerful tool could potentially shape the future of her work. Stick around because Joanna's story might just change the way you edit photos forever. Welcome back, everyone, to another interview. Today, I've got Joanna Celia all the way from New Zealand. I kind of feel this kind of kinship with you. We're both all the way out in the middle of the ocean on an island. You definitely get the award for the guest who's the furthest away from me. But welcome to it's not a podcast, but to the video. I'm super excited to get a chance to connect with you and to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself real quick, who you are, what you do, and yeah.
Cool. Yes, I'm Joanna. My business name is Celia Photography, and I am actually Swedish, but I live in New Zealand since about a year and a half, and shoot a lot of weddings and elopements and couple shoots as well. And I love being out in nature and exploring this beautiful country of New Zealand. And yeah, it's been fun to trial Polarr Next for the past few weeks, and I've shot not as much lately, so it's been like a mix of a maternity shoot and a studio portrait session with a bridal couple. Yeah.
Perfect. That's good because we've had tons of wedding photographers. I do like when I have guests that come on and bring other different types of catalogs. For our marketing and our focus, we did focus a lot on high volume photographers. Weddings are huge. But I do love to see what Polarr Next can do with different types of genres and subjects and situations. There's some editing softwares out there that are so focused on tethering and studio work and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. But yeah, I do want to get to know you a little bit more and your journey. So, New Zealand not necessarily being your place that you've grown up, you moved there and you grew up in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did photography come into your life? Was it in New Zealand? Was it before you left for New Zealand? How did that evolve?
Yeah, so I think I've always been known as the person who loves taking photos.
Yeah.
But mostly maybe, the friend with the camera, essentially, when I was a teenager. And then when I moved to New Zealand the first time around, which was back in 2019, I had a goal to become a better photographer. I kind of tossed with the idea that I wanted to start a business and things like that. And my host dad was actually a photographer because I was an au pair when I moved here the first time. Wow. So that really helped, like asking him all the questions. And then I ended up meeting my now husband, who's also really into photos.
Wow.
And that kind of kicked off the journey. I moved back to Sweden during the pandemic and kicked off my business then. It went well because Sweden wasn't as locked down as other countries.
Yeah.
So I got to shoot maybe 5 weddings my first year.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the year after was that like big boom in weddings. So then I got like 22, I believe. So that was really good for, starting off. And then that's when I moved to New Zealand around year 3 of running the business. And yeah, I've been here a year and a half now and it's going really well. So that's kind of my quick summary of my journey. Yeah.
This is really good. a gold mine of questions and information because there's a lot of things that you've experienced that, um, moving markets, moving your business from not just like state to state, but literally across the world, going from one market to another. There's a lot of different variables you have to account for, like pricing, cost of doing business, permitting, licenses, like all these things that like Sweden, I can imagine being vastly different than what it takes in New Zealand to run your same business. So what was it like moving markets, like moving your business from market to market? And did your pricing change vastly from like Sweden to New Zealand?
Yeah, that's a really good question actually, because I'm actually half Romanian as well. I'm a little bit of
Okay.
everything. That's my name, Joanna. It's very Romanian. But
Wow.
so essentially with Europe, because Sweden is a very developed country, the economy is really good. Meanwhile, let's say Romania is not very developed in the same way. And then prices for everything to do with weddings is vastly different. I would say New Zealand is pretty similar to Sweden in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that, like pricing wise and stuff, I was considerably cheaper back in Sweden because I was just starting out. Um, and when I moved here, I just raised my prices just a little bit, um, which I found worked really well because people were booking me, even though I didn't have like a New Zealand portfolio, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now I actually find that when I do get the occasional inquiry for Sweden, because I still go back to see my family every year,
Wow.
um, people are a little bit like, oh my gosh, that's a lot in Swedish
Mm-hmm.
currency, if that makes sense.
Is it Krone?
Yeah, Swedish
Krone?
krona.
Krone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So uh, that's very interesting. But I do know a lot of photographers in Sweden charging the equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was just because I used to be quite cheap, and
Yeah.
now when I send out my quotes to Sweden, people are all of a sudden like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money."
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of an interesting twist to it all.
Yeah.
But also, that being said, I know that New Zealand compared to the US, we're really cheap over here
Okay.
because the exchange rate is so
Mm.
different, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
like, a high-end New Zealand photographer might charge, let's say, 7,000 New Zealand dollars,
Okay.
which is 4,300 USD.
Wow.
And that is like the high-end people, if that makes sense. Like,
Wow.
it's hard to get over that here in New Zealand. And I know that 4.3 thousand is not like the high end, at least not in California, what
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting how the markets are so different everywhere.
What was your editing like? What did you
In the
what
beginning.
programs did you start off with? And then what is your current workflow?
Yeah, so I maybe I'm just a very simple person, but I have been editing on Lightroom the whole time. I've done all my culling on Lightroom as well, just 5-star, all the good ones. And then I just go through a wedding twice to make sure. And usually that gets me down to the rough number of photos that I need. And then I just apply my preset, which is split into two actually. So it's first I apply what's it called? A profile, and then I apply the actual preset. Um, and then I just tweak that. I'm kind of bad at making sure my horizon is straight when I'm taking a photo.
Yeah,
So I will always have to, crop and adjust things.
I feel
Um,
that.
Yeah.
Like,
So
was I drunk? Like, what is this? Like,
like what the heck? Just focus, you know? But
mhm,
that's easier said than done when you're shooting because there's so much going on in your head.
yeah,
But that's my current workflow, I would say.
nice.
And I think I'm a pretty fast editor in general, so I haven't actually utilized AI before trying Polarr Next.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always just been like a fast editor in general. But
That was my next question. Had you like heard about Aftershoot or Imagine or the different AI editors out there? Had you heard of it? And then was there any type of like urge to try it, or you were just super comfortable with what you have?
yeah, I think I've definitely thought about it.
Hmm.
And especially this year, which has been quite crazy with the amount of workload I've had.
Yeah.
But I've always felt like how much faster will it actually be? I need to spend so much time setting it up and,
Hmm.
training the AI to,
Yeah.
and I was thinking that what if I'm pour money into this and I'm not happy with it? That just feels like a waste.
Hmm.
And so that was kind of why I was held back from trying it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's good. That's really interesting. Before I kind of comment a little bit more, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
What pain points do you see right now in your current workflow? Like as far as like program speed of Lightroom, things that you wish Lightroom could automate or do for you. Like what kind of pain points do you think exist right now for photographers, and can AI help solve any of that?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Um, I mean, you know how there are other programs, let's say Narrative Select, who helps you cull and
Hmm.
they like detect like eyes if they're open or closed. That could be a feature. Maybe like Lightroom could work more on their like culling side of things. So because I just don't I like working in one program. It's just so much easier,
Hmm.
quicker for me, keeps my brain focused. So
Yeah.
maybe that could be something they could improve on. When it comes to the editing speed, I mean, it could always be better.
Hmm.
I call in the library feature, which is like
Yeah.
really fast, and then when I edit off an SSD, so it's like decently fast.
Hmm.
But
Like a external SSD.
yeah,
Okay.
but trying to think, like that's such a good question. Like, what do I struggle with?
I mean, you probably experienced a huge jump from your 2013 laptop to your brand new like MacBook Pro. Is that like massive difference in speed?
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, I did that switch almost is it three years ago now.
Okay.
Uh, in December, it would be 3 years ago. Oh, that was massive. Um, couldn't
Does
even.
still though give you like delays or slowdowns, or ever does it ever like chug like when you're trying to batch sync a lot, or even just move from photo to photo?
Yeah, like especially when you mask things
Yeah.
or yeah, batch sync things. It's just loading, and I always find myself like grabbing my phone while it's doing that, and then I get
I could
distracted
crush
and
a
I'm
couple
scrolling.
TikToks right now.
Yeah. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden I've spent 5 minutes on
Oh
Instagram and
gosh.
oh, but I'm editing. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can't really do much when it's doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And then you brought up narrative. So had you tried other culling programs?
No, actually
Not
I
yet.
haven't. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to jumping into Polar Next. Let's go ahead and switch it up now.
Create a new style,
Hmm.
advanced setup,
We'll go
switching
advanced.
style.
Go ahead and
Whoa.
take us through your process of editing these photos. Like if you started with a preset you imported from Lightroom, or how do you attack this?
Yeah, so I've had to use my old preset that I created myself that
Yeah.
requires a lot of tweaking. Um, but I currently actually, when I edit in Lightroom, use another preset, but that's split into two. So it's like you apply a profile first and then you pair it with a preset. So I attempted to combine the two and see what would happen.
Okay.
This was the result of that. Okay, which was not at all. This is not at all the AI or like the result of that preset. But
Okay.
essentially, so this is my preset. It does look a little bit different on here than it does on Lightroom.
Real
But
quick.
yeah.
So on your history on the left side, you can see where it says apply preset on the
Oh yeah.
history. Yeah. So click that. So the apply preset right there, click that. That is your preset. The step above it, the auto lighting white balance,
Oh yeah.
changed it up. So for the sake of this example, let's go into the gear tab at the bottom left and let's turn off the auto lighting and white balance just so
Bottom
that we
left
don't get
here.
confused. Yeah, right there. And then editing.
Okay.
And there we go. And then we'll close it up. And then now when you apply presets, like if you were
Mhm.
to click it, it won't enact that auto lighting and
All
white
right.
balance.
Okay.
And so
Awesome.
one other thing, I did have another user come on and she noted that, you know, with her preset, it comes on a little strong in Polarr Next. So on the left
Hmm.
side panel where it says strength, maybe mess with that a little bit too to see if like, you know, if you get different results or whatnot. The
Oh
thing
yeah.
is like with Polarr Next, and we try to explain to people that like we will process your presets different. And that's something that like is unavoidable, whether using
Yeah.
Capture One or any other type of editing program, going from Lightroom to whatever. So our biggest
Hmm.
suggestion is get your preset loaded in and then kind of use that as a base, tweak it, and then save yourself a new version of it for Polarr Next.
Yeah.
And then we do have the option if you want to send it to us to convert it for you. Our engineers
Hmm.
can do that. If you click that plus button on the left side, you'll see that
Here.
option. Yeah, request Lightroom preset conversion. And then
Uh-huh.
that'll send you to the little link to do that. And we do it for free.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think you could do that with my other one? That's like a two-part preset.
yeah, definitely. When you enable that and you go in there, just write it in the notes section. Say, hey, I've got
I'm just going in to check what it looks like.
yeah. So you'll fill out that little type form and then
Okay.
just let them know like, hey, I'm going to send you two presets. One is I
Mm-hmm.
exported the profile, and then this other one is I exported the preset. I want to try and get these two together, merge them or whatever. And
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. I'll try to do that and see what happens. Um,
awesome.
okay, so I've tweaked this one. Like I'm a simple person. I don't do like overly much with my photos. I
Hmm.
mean, the grass was dead. It was looking like this. It was not green at all. So
It's elegant.
yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to reflect the truth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that they are just selecting random photos. Like this is an unculled gallery, so
Okay.
the photos are a bit random. Um,
How would you describe your editing style?
um, quite true to color. I
Okay.
like to be a little bit more maybe on the saturated side. I like to make sunset hues pop, or um, I do like to keep it quite true to color of what it was on the day, let's
Yeah.
say. Um, like for this photo, I might tend to bring out some of the blue in the sky and in the water just because there's not much going on with the grass on the hills
Hmm.
and stuff. Just so there is something of color, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, so maybe something like that. I'm not a huge fan of the Crooked Horizons. So
I agree.
I will keep that quite straight. And I know that they're a little bit out of focus, but yeah, this is just a random photo.
Nice.
Here, maybe a little bit warmer.
Now, I
So
like taking photos like this to kind of establish the sense of place. Like
yeah, I
that's
mean,
one
how
thing.
can you not in a place like this though?
Yeah, it's a little treat for your clients. Like they not only get photos of them there, like they also get just like a wonderful, gorgeous landscape that they could put into a photo album, like a future photo album, or they have like a collage of pictures and they just have this gorgeous
Yeah.
landscape that helps to bring the atmosphere. Love it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see, maybe a little bit more
So,
creepy.
as you're editing here, I know that you
Yeah.
edited more projects and you can keep going, keep doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
What was your experience like working in the Polarr Next program? Like, how was it with the fluidity, with the speed of like opening menus, masking? Like, what was your impressions?
Yeah, I think it's a really easy program to use just because it is quite similar to the layout of Lightroom.
Uh huh.
Um, I think it took me a while to suss out the just how to integrate the AI in the best way, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, yeah, I was like, wait, oh no, now it's processing all of these photos, and I
Yes.
didn't really want to.
I noticed a ton of locked photos, and I'm hopefully going to be able to clarify some things for you to be able to
Yeah.
utilize Polar Next to the best. Because I know that was like um, a concern in the past. Our AI used to like on a 1500 image project, like say you're editing photos of getting ready, and you would hit mark as reference, it would go all the way to like nighttime dancing reception and
Oh yeah.
process. And that was like a big concern that a lot of users had. And so we had to sit down and really look at the AI and the algorithm and like what it's touching and the
Hmm.
way that like we think as photographers are logic. Like if you were to affect that image of the bride and groom looking out at the lake with the dead grass
Hmm.
and you mark it as reference, it should only really affect the similar images during that time and space versus
Yeah.
like going all the way to the hotel room, getting ready and incandescent lighting. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we actually stripped it down quite a bit. But as you, and I'm going to have you, I want to have you mark references rather than lock a lot because I
Yeah.
want to show you as well that when you do mark photos as references, sometimes when the AI does process an image that might be like an overflow or like it doesn't seem like it matches up, you'll find that like nothing was really touched. Like the process was negligible. Yeah, there you go. Negligible.
Yeah.
And that like you can start to kind of like let the AI do its thing because the reason why you want to mark these references rather than lock them is when you lock them, yes, it does preserve your edits and what you did to it, and it's going to keep the AI from processing. But
Hmm.
when you mark references, that's how you train your AI. So the
Yeah.
more that you mark, the better it's going to get over time. And the better experience you'll have overall as you continue to use Polarr Next and use your style, that you can
Hmm.
just really jump into a project, import the style from a previous, and then bam, you've got like a huge
Hmm.
running head start.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I reckon, yeah, because I was like, I must do, like, it went well and it went fast, but I
Hmm.
was like, surely there is a more of a streamlined way of doing this.
Hmm.
So that's good to hear, and I'm keen to like get a little bit of a guide
Yes.
through that. Okay, now I'm just gonna quickly, very, very quick edits, but
I like the look of these.
maybe like that, something. Maybe I need
Yeah.
to again. Yeah.
From the
Yeah,
bird's eye
random.
view, they look great.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Very random photos again. Like some of these would not even make it
Hmm.
into that. gallery, but yeah, it's an
Okay.
uncolored session. So
Yeah. And that's totally fine if some of these, don't make it. The whole process is, finding just different lighting scenarios and editing those. And what you could do too is if you go to the bottom and unclick that suggested filter, you can
mhm.
see the whole film strip. So if you wanted to edit more photos, you
Yeah.
certainly can, but
Hmm.
you don't have to. You can click that again, get that narrowed view of your 9. So from here, you'll just select them all and just hit the M button to mark them as references. There you go. And now all your green bars are filled up on the top right. And when you're ready, you just hit finish AI style setup and just watch the magic happen. So, like, what was your impression when this was going down and, seeing it all processed in real time?
Yeah, it was very satisfying. It is
Mm-hmm.
definitely because I know that this is a unique feature for Polarr Next,
Mm-hmm.
and it's uh, it's nice to see it happen because then you're
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more aware of what's happening and where it's going and things like that. I do notice that some of them are probably getting like cropped
Yes.
like here, but that's all good. Like that's
Yeah.
something I do anyways all the time, like fixing. But other than that, they do look quite
Consistent.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are looking that way. And bear in mind, like you only trained 9 photos out of the 458 that you edited. So like let's
Mhm.
just take it from here, like scroll down a bit where the cropping was a little off.
Yeah, where was it
Go
here?
so start from the beginning of that sequence. So take it back, go a couple to the right to 476.
476
There
here.
you
Yeah.
go. So from here, adjust the crop.
Maybe like that.
Awesome. So now mark it as a reference and it should update those similar ones. There it
Mm,
goes.
easy.
There it goes. And so now just kind of
This.
go down the line. So what I would do, like, cause you're working from left to right, you can kind of see where
Oh
it's
yeah.
on 478. The couple kind of gets close to the edge again.
Yeah.
Maybe respace it, set it up again, hit mark as a reference, and then it will just keep repeating that process.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So I really need to, in my head, be like, you cannot touch, like, it's really left to right, and it's not going to be good to.
well, if you go in the
Or?
settings gear tab, the bottom left,
Ah, yes. Yes.
in processing, by default, we have forward only processing. So this works left to right. But if you turn that off, you can now close it. And then now you can jump to like any photo. So like, let's
Mhm.
unmark this as a reference real quick. Unmark it and then unlock
How
it.
do I do that? Oh, up
Yeah,
here.
there you
If I
go.
press M again, does it not unmark?
Control M,
Okay.
Control M, Control L, and then unlock it and then do it to the other reference.
This one.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So now go to maybe like 479 and
Four,
then,
7, 9. Here we
yeah,
go.
there you go. And then adjust the crop and mark it as a reference when you're done. And then when you mark it, it should process behind it.
Mm,
There you go.
nice.
So, now when you did that, I noticed that it did process like 485, 486, and those are
Yeah.
those are kind of completely different compositions and crops. So I'm curious if you click on those, all right, and then on the left side in history, whenever
Mhm.
you mark a photo as a reference, the AI will process things, and that's where like each and every time it does it, you can go by step by step.
Mm,
So we can logically think this top one at the history step was what it just did. And if you go
yeah.
underneath it, let's see if there's a big difference. So you can see like the color, right? Kind of going differently. So like, where's the color that you want? Which one would you say?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, this is the original. It was
Yeah.
incredibly cold, gloomy,
Hmm.
very blue. And I actually do like this latest one, I think, because it's
Okay.
just crispiest. Like here, the whites are a little bit muddy.
Yeah.
So I do like this one. It
That's,
does still look cold outside, like it looks
yeah.
very cold and a little bit wet, but it doesn't look blue, which is
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
or
great.
overly magenta. Yeah.
That's great. And so that's what, so you edited the crop on 479, didn't really do much else. And when you marked it as a reference, it processed like 485, 486, all these ones on the right side. But you can see that like the difference was slightly negligible. I don't know why I always use that word, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's so slight, but it also kind of improved like the look that you're going for. And if you like it, mark that as a reference and then
mhm.
allow the AI to keep kind of threading that through, your project. And
Yeah.
so as you're going, the history panel's your friend, kind of look through it and then go back a step and then mark it as reference. But yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
sorry. I don't want to like hijack things, but I really wanted to like highlight that so that
No, it's good. Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely good.
awesome.
Um, yeah.
Why don't we go back to the grid view and then it's already done processing, which is like what I love. Like I have like, I don't know if I have PTSD from like Lightroom and just waiting for it to process, but like with Polarr Next, like you can jump in right away and just start
Mhm.
adjusting, start editing, and it works along right alongside you.
Yeah.
Maybe scroll all the way to the top. Let's see how it kind of did from the beginning and kind of see what your impressions are.
Hmm. Yeah. I actually, so it's funny because I've already edited these
Mm-hmm.
in Lightroom with the
Okay.
other preset. And it's just fun to like see what it does like when it compares. Obviously, it's two completely different presets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've just like tweaked it so it's like kind of my style. And I
Yeah.
must say they're quite similar, which is really nice.
Awesome.
Um, I would just go in and make that the lake and the sky pop a little bit more, just so that there is some sort of
Yeah.
color reflecting in these photos. But other than that, I do think it's quite nice. Like here, these might need some adjusting, like
Mm-hmm.
this little sequence. But I might also, because these are not culled, I would
Yeah.
definitely cull a lot of them as well, because there's a lot of similar ones. And yeah, but it's not bad at all. Maybe a little bit on the overexposed side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
And
here we
there
have a
you go.
little.
Yeah, if you click
What's
it, it
happening?
should. Yeah, there it goes.
Uh,
Yeah, that'll appear sometimes.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, good.
so good.
Mm.
Let's see. What else?
Oh, yeah, these would need some tweaking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Okay. So let's see where we're at with our time. I think this is good because um, we could spend a lot of time going in and like re-editing some things if you wanted, but we already kind of did that. How about
Hmm.
masking? Have you done a lot of masking photos and stuff like that?
Um, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just to make the subject pop a little.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to mask this one,
Mm-hmm.
for example, um, do I do that first or do I mark it as a reference photo first?
Yeah, do the masking first. So you
Okay.
always want to make all your adjustments, and it's that circle.
Oh, sorry.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Mask subject. Just a tiny bit. just a little bit of exposure, not a lot at all. And
Mhm.
then, okay, so that's done. And then do I do
Mhm. Mark it as a
reference?
reference, and then you'll watch it. So the similar ones, like the ones right next to it, should also now have the mask.
Mm,
There you
yeah.
go.
Nice.
What's great about it too is if you went to that first one, 220,
This one?
yeah, there you go. And then just for fun, unmark it again as a reference and then unlock it.
Oh, Control M L. Okay,
There you
there we
go.
go.
And then go up to the mask one and kind of hover over in the menu.
So the first,
On the right side, top right, where it says mask one in
oh
the
yeah, yeah.
mask menu, there's
Okay,
a
yes.
pencil icon, and
Mm-hmm.
you can actually rename this. So
All
if you
right.
do a lot of masking, it's gonna be so much easier for you to keep track of like what's what. So like if you call this like subject or something, and then you renamed it, and then you mark it as a reference, it's also gonna copy over the name and everything too,
Mm.
which is like super convenient. And let's see if my theory is correct. Yep, there it is.
Hey.
Do
Yeah,
you
that's good.
do a lot of like the eyeball or hair or skin masking, or not so much
No, I'm not super,
deep into
it's
that?
usually mostly like full subjects like this, like make the
Yeah,
subject pop out of the background.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's not usually like, you know, sometimes if a grandma has these tinted glasses on, I would, you know, but
yeah.
that's very specific, so you would like pencil it manually anyways.
Do you
Stuff like
ever
that.
use point color?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, let me show you this real quick. So you already
Hmm.
have subject mask on. On the right side, those sliders and everything pertain to the subject mask. If you go right below sharpness, you'll see like an eyedropper tool.
Yeah.
So when you click that, um, you basically can select any color within the mask, which is your subject. So say like your subject got really sunburned and you really got to
Oh
tone
yeah.
down those reds, then you can like click maybe the red on her arm or something, and then it'll show up there and now you can adjust it. And the cool thing is like her skin tone kind of blends with the background,
Oh
some
yeah.
shades of it, and it's a great thing to be able to do your point color within
Oh
the
yeah.
mask so you're not affecting the surrounding area or
Right.
whatever. So
Yeah.
that's just one thing I wanted to point out just in case you ever need that in the future. And
Hmm.
it's not just subject mask either. Like, you know, when you're masking the sky, wanting to make it pop, you can get in, make that sky mask, use that point color, and then bam,
Mm.
target those specific colors.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip. Yeah, cool. Especially if the
Awesome.
color is very like here, skin tone,
Hmm.
background very similar, and you just want to
Hmm.
adjust. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So do you want to take us through those other projects real quick? We don't have to edit, but I'm curious to see like the results of them.
Yeah, let's see if it works. Oh yeah, so we is there a way I can batch change, let's say all of the 5 stars? Um, can I mask them all and just take off the locked of all of them just so they
Yeah,
are
you should be able to like control L them. That's weird. Yeah, control L them. See what happens.
Control M and L. Okay, yeah, Control L.
Or deselected.
Oh,
Well, what's interesting is this photo. It shows it's not loading now. Oh,
so I just want them all to be like not
huh.
have the
The photo's not even showing.
yeah, maybe yeah, because let me go in and out again.
There you go. Mm, okay.
Yeah, this gallery is a bit definitely lives its own life.
What about the other project?
Let's see. You can try this one. Just need to
This was a
select
little
folder.
maternity or like an announcement.
Yeah, it's a maternity shoot in their home.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, nice. I like home shoots. They're always nice.
yeah. So let's see. I definitely have some because I culled in here. So I just
Yeah.
find mark. I mean, there are some funny. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, just took some in the nursery. They had a lot of reference photos of what they wanted. So we
Hmm.
kind of just worked with their Pinterest board and, covered
Nice.
most of the ones that they wanted. But yes, as you can see, I have locked a lot of them
Hmm.
when once I'm like happy with it.
Yeah.
There were a few, I don't know why. Maybe they will change if we go into them.
That's so
But
funny. That cat. It's like you caught it like right when it's licking itself or
oh
cleaning
yeah, yeah,
itself.
big with their cats as well. Like oh yeah, this one. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that aren't really doing what I want, but it probably has to do with that bug that was
Yeah.
affecting my galleries.
Definitely.
Um, but
Awesome.
yeah, like it was consistent. It went fast as well, and I think it would go even faster if I did it correctly, from the get-go. You just showed me again.
Yeah. No
And
worries.
yeah, I think it will definitely save a lot of time to use Polarr Next compared to Lightroom.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely give it, yeah.
Let me switch this over real quick. Awesome. Okay. So, woo, wow, what a what a journey from where we started. Oh my goodness. Okay, so just to recap, we got in, had an awesome conversation about just editing and your journey as a photographer, Sweden, New Zealand. And then we jumped into Polarr Next. And then, of course, we encountered a bug in real time. And we got to show you guys a little preview of our desktop app that's currently in beta, in which we're going to be pushing out very soon, which will not require Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, which is great. So, with all of that being said, Yona, like, what is your like overall impression of Polarr Next? And do you feel like, I mean, regardless of the bugs, do you feel like Polarr Next is able to deliver like the type of quality that you would expect from a photo editing app? And do you feel confident in being able to deliver these quality of photos?
Yeah, I think I would definitely take some more time to like learn the most efficient way of doing things. And definitely keep trying because I know, it's just gonna get better. And because you're at the stage where you listen to like really keen to hear true real users feedback. I think there is a lot of potential, even though we require this big bug today. I think um I've seen enough of Polarr Next to know that it could become something really great. And the consistency in the edits are impressive, I think. I mean, I don't have too much to compare with because I haven't really tried any other AI software, but I can definitely see how beneficial it will be, especially during a really busy season.
Mm-hmm.
I've only tried smaller shoots um, just to kind of get the feel for the program and see what it does. Um, but I would be keen to try a whole wedding as well and just see what happens and also time it and compare the
Mm-hmm.
same size wedding on Lightroom versus
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Okay. Are there any features that you feel are missing from Polarr Next, or things that you'd like to see come into our program eventually?
Yeah, I mean that whole part, maybe what I mentioned before with profiles, like
Okay.
that side would be amazing. Just so um I don't know how common it is, but because I use profiles so much with
Mm-hmm.
my other preset, it would be so great if that was a feature as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um I mean, personally, I don't use this feature too much, but it's still helpful where you like with the select masking tool that you
Okay.
can select maybe more specific things like a single person or stuff like that.
And it's the kind that like you just click it and it'll just select it.
Yeah, I think so. And then what else? Nothing crazy other than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you were to move from Lightroom over to that, you feel like there's already just enough features to where you can comfortably edit in Polarr Next and continue delivering your work out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an option to like how the relationship is between Polarr Next and Photoshop. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, you transport a photo straight into Photoshop, you edit this table or this person out, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just back in Lightroom and you can.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a very helpful feature on Lightroom
Yeah.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
We do have the
yeah.
ability to export photos in .psd. So when you
Hmm.
export, you can like my workflow, like I'll edit through the album and then I will mark with a blue filter the photos I need to bring into Photoshop. And
Hmm.
then so I'll edit everything and then I'll export or I'll filter by blue, and it could be like 10 to 30, and I'll just shift click everything and then I can export it all in PSD, and then all I got
Yeah.
to do is just drag it into Photoshop and then do your retouching and then save it as a JPEG from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
definitely check that out. Okay, so before we wrap up, there's one other thing too, because I know that you cull in Lightroom, and you can pretty much do that in Polarr Next within manual mode.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fast, going from image to image. But we also do have AI assisted or smart intelligent culling coming out very soon. And
Mm-hmm.
we're actually going to showcase it during our live stream next week on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
where our program will be able to auto group your photos. So, like if it's multiple sequences and stuff, you'll be able to bring those down into groups, duplicates, and you'll be able to see and select which ones and be able to do that. So I'd be
Hmm.
very interested to hear what you think about the new culling features and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because a lot of our users were saying how they want a program that's all in one.
Yeah.
And we are really excited to be able to finally deliver that and say, hey, you have culling now, you have editing, you don't have to go from program to program. Like it's all literally right here to cull and
Mm.
edit. And it's pretty exciting. So is that something you'd want to check out?
Oh
In
yeah, for
Yeah?
sure. I would definitely like to.
Okay.
I love the idea of it being the same program. I don't love jumping from all these different places, so that's definitely a great
Yeah.
idea. And I also would like to experiment with, how I code versus how AI would code and just see.
Yeah.
I've never tried it, so yeah, that's good.
Last thing before we wrap up here, to those who have just heard about Polarr Next, who might be weary of AI, like what would you say to those people who haven't tried Polarr Next? Like what would you encourage them with?
Yeah, I think definitely try it, especially if, because everyone has credit to like try it with, right? In the
Yes.
beginning. Yeah. So there is nothing to lose, just like playing around with it and see if you like it, especially if you're in a season where you feel that you have mountains and mountains of things to edit. I've definitely been in that boat this year. And also, I've also struggled with the like, am I scamming people using AI, or is
Yeah.
this really me, or is this really my work? But the thing is, as long as you start using AI after a while, like I wouldn't encourage a beginner to start using it. Like
Hmm.
work on your craft, make sure you know what you're doing,
Hmm.
you have a consistent style, and then this is like a tool that can help you just have more free time. Because when you're a beginner, you probably don't have a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
So you have that time to, work on your craft. But yeah, that's kind of how I see AI. It's an assistant. It helps you um, free up your time. It's actually not
Hmm.
as scary as it might seem. Um, and as long as you know what you're doing, you could edit a consistent gallery yourself. I don't see a problem with using AI to help you along. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Joanna, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me, to battle through all the obstacles that we did. And I think we came out on a positive note for sure, being able to edit that album, see it, capture pretty much your look that you're used to, and do it in a way that was fast and efficient. And again, look forward to hearing more from you about our future builds and features. All right. Well, I hope to see you in the future. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for jumping on. And thank you to everyone for watching. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. See ya.
It was a pleasure having you with us today as we explored Celia's journey and discovered how Polarr Next could potentially transform her workflow. Joanna's unique approach and her insights into the power of Polarr Next truly inspiring, and we hope you've gained some valuable takeaways. If you enjoyed this session, we'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And don't miss out on your chance to experience Polarr Next for yourself. Grab your 2,000 free export credits with the link in the description. We're always eager to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.